Good evening. It's Wednesday night, time for another Facebook Live. Today we're playing with sunflowers. I've been trying to share with you this week some of the bundles that will be disappearing when the new catalog comes out. So the stamps and the dies will be continuing on, but you won't be able to get the bundle price anymore. And this is one of those bundles that will be going away, and it's beautiful. I haven't played with it for a while, so I had a lot of fun getting it out and playing with it again. I was getting ready to draw for last week, and my laptop decided to just quit working, so I had to restart it, and it is still restarting. So I will have to draw after the video to see who gets to get this, excuse me, this beautiful butterfly card. Sorry, let me get a drink of water. I got a frog in my throat all of a sudden. Hey Allison. So because my laptop is not behaving, I can't share this video, so I'll have to share it when it's all done. But this card was really easy to make, and the coloring on it is very quick. So let me show you how I made this. So I just have a piece of basic white. Oops, try not to lose. I did some die cutting ahead of time, so I wouldn't take too long tonight. So I just have a piece of basic white, and I'm going to stamp my sunflower in early espresso. And it's kind of a big one, so I like to turn it upside down and ink it up that way. It's just easier. For me anyway. Hey, Debbie, you got to join us live. Good. We just got started, so I'm just going to stamp this. And you don't have to worry about it being in the middle because we're going to die cut it. Isn't that pretty? I just love the detail on this sunflower. It's just beautiful. All right, I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. It was a pretty juicy pad, so I'm going to let it dry a little bit before we start coloring. And then for the leaves, so the paper I used on this card is from this Flowers for Every Season. So it's got some gorgeous papers in it. Mine's getting low, which is good because it's about to run out of time. So I don't need that big piece. I used some of the green. This is Just Jade. And that's what I stamped my leaves on. So I've already done two just to speed it up. But I just took the leaf stamp, and I'm just going to stamp it in Just Jade on the Just Jade Designer Series paper. And I like to do that because it just gives the leaf a little more texture. All right. Oh, I forgot one more thing I need to stamp with my early espresso. Oh, my laptop is maybe starting up. We'll see. Let me set that aside. And now I just have a scrap of Whisper White. And I'm going to stamp the Let's Celebrate You. And again, it doesn't have to be straight because we're going to cut it out. All right. That is all the stamping. Get this out of the way. I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. And I've did my coloring before I die cut the sunflower. I don't know. I just did. I don't know that you have to. It's probably easier to hold on to it if nothing else. So I love these blending brushes. Somebody said they were back in stock, and I'm sorry, I did not check before I came on to see if they're still in stock. But they are fabulous. So I'm going to take, this is Bumblebee, which is the ribbon that we're using is Bumblebee. And normally I would do some ink off so I wouldn't end up with a dark splotch. But in this case, I don't care because I'm trying to make it darker in the middle. So I'm just going to ink it up and then just start in the middle and then just work out. And you just do this until you like the color you have. You want some color on the outside. So when you feel like you've got enough, whoop, got a little bit on the side there, didn't I? That's okay. Almost. And I like the way it just gradually adds color. But then I decided, let me close this, that I wanted a little bit darker in the middle. So I took my cinnamon cider, and again, I'm just going to do the same thing. Just start in the middle and just go out a little bit. But I'm not going all the way to the edge now because I want that outside to be that lighter yellow. So this will give us a darker center. Do one more time. And then I did go back with my yellow and just kind of blend it a little bit so that if you know, there were some harsh lines from that cinnamon cider, that just kind of blended it together. And that's it. That is how I colored my sunflower. So let me get my my cut and emboss machine. I'm going to move you up a little bit so you're not sitting right on top of the machine. And so the dies that go with this set are fabulous. It's got one that cuts out the sunflower, which is what we're going to use. Too many things sitting here. So we're going to cut out our sunflower. And then there's one that does an overlay. I did it out of vellum and it's just sitting in my, but it does this overlay that you can do. That one was vellum and I tried coloring it and I didn't like the way it ended up, so it's just sitting in the stamp case waiting for me to use it on something else. So what I do, if you look at the die, you can see these kind of, let me just throw it, these kind of, they're kind of pointing to the left. And so I find the petals that are kind of pointing to the left, and that's how I line it up. And then it's easy to line up. So hopefully you can see that. All right. Whoops, sorry, I just bumped the camera. All right, let's cut this out. So I just put that on there gently and then I just kind of hold it so that it doesn't slip on me. So now we have this gorgeous sunflower all cut out and colored very quickly. You could color it with blends and it would be beautiful, but this was just a faster way to do it. All right, let me put that back, and then I need my leaf die. So this is the outline. There's an outline for the two leaves, and then these just make these cute little stalks of whatever. So I use those as little accents. But right now we're going to cut out our leaf. So again, we'll just put that on there. Hold on to it so it doesn't slip, and run it through. And so I did that already twice before, so you didn't have to sit through all of the die cutting. All right, let me put my die away. Set that out of the way. Set this out of the way. All right, let's get our paper back. All right, now we have our pieces. We're going to cut that sentiment out, but let's go ahead and make our card. So I have just a piece, and as always, I will put the dimensions on my blog right after this, so you can find me at www.creatingwithcindy.com. And I will put all the dimensions for my blog on my blog for this card. And this is the bumblebee gingham ribbon, and it is carrying over, which I'm really glad because it's a cute ribbon. So I'm just going to tie it here at the bottom in a knot because I didn't want a bow taking away from my sunflower. Plus, it's hard to tie bows on camera. All right. My cat has decided he needs attention right as I'm doing this, of course. So if you hear him crinkling around, he's walking around the papers trying to get me to pay attention to him. All right. I'm just going to, here, I can scoot you back. Hi, buddy. I can scoot you back down a little bit now that we're done die cutting. So I'm just going to trim those ends. And then we'll go ahead and put this. Oops, I don't want to lose those. Isn't that pretty, that daisy pattern on the back? We'll put this on our card base. So I'm just using my Stampin' Seal. And I just left a little bit of an edge on the left side. Just frames it nicely. And then for my sunflower, we'll cut that out in a minute. I kind of set my leaves the way I wanted them. So I wanted 2 over here and 1 over here. And then I just took my liquid glue and I just put some on the ends of that, and then I just set my sunflower on top of that. And then the same thing on this side. A little glue at the top. And then maybe like that. Let that sit for just a minute. While it's sitting, we can cut out our sentiment. So I've just got my snips. And I'm just going to cut around it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a little different way to do a sentiment instead of just a rectangle. I kind of like the way it looks. But you notice, cut that away, that I'm turning my paper more than my scissors. So my scissors are just cutting and my other hand is turning the paper, and that makes for a better cut. Again, we'll cut some of this away. And as always, I will draw next week. Hopefully my laptop will cooperate. I will draw for somebody to win this card. If you joined me late, I was trying to do the drawing for the butterfly card from last week, and my laptop decided to just not work. So I had to restart it. So it has restarted now, but now it wants me to do some setup thing. So I just decided it was going to have to wait till I was done with the video. So I will have to share the video after it's done. So hopefully nobody was looking for us on the Creating with Cindy group. All right, we're almost there. And then when I got to the lets, I just kind of cut straight because it was kind of straight compared to the, there we go. Now we have our sentiment. Let's get this out of the way. Scissors. And then I took my blending brush and I just brushed some of the yellow that was still left in it on there, just so it wasn't quite so stark white. And why not? I still had yellow in there, so might as well. Okay. Now we are ready to finish putting it together. So I took dimensionals, and I'm just using up the rest of a pack here. And I put them in the center of the flower. Just a couple of them there, because I'm going to tuck those other little things down in there. And then I put one on each leaf. All right, so we're going to put this like that. And then you're going to take, for me this is easier. I took glue dots and I just put one on the end here. Because I want them to be kind of free, you know, on the other end. And then you can just kind of tuck it down in there. And then it'll just kind of stick up. And then the same thing on the other one. This one I'll try and get a little bit straighter because the one I made earlier is kind of going off the card. That's not helpful. So I'll try and make sure it goes up more. I thought it was just added a cute little something else to them. All right, and then for the sentiment, I went ahead and used mini dimensionals on these fatter parts, but I wasn't sure it would fit there, so I like to use the edges of my mini dimensionals, and I can cut a skinny strip. So that's what I use the edges of these for, and then I can just put that down here. I'm going to show you some new cards, some cards with new product too, because the new catalog is coming out soon. All right, get off of there. There we go. And then you can just put this down here. And there you go. So there's our sunflower card for tonight. And again, I'll draw next week and somebody will win this card. And I'll send it to you in the mail. All right. So let me show you a few new things. I think I have the stamp set right here. So we played with this last night in the team meeting. We got to play with new stuff. I'm going to set that aside. So this is one of the new stamp sets and one of the new bundles that's coming out. Sometimes it's easier to show you the punches from the other side. Thank you, Jackie. So this is Flowers of Friendship. Really nice stamp set. The flowers are gorgeous. The cards that we made are using the new in colors. So let me show you what we made. We made these last night. So this is Pale Papaya. And the really dark, it may be hard to see on the camera. Thank you, Allison. That's the Evening Evergreen. So I used that on all of them. And then the other 4 colors we used to make the flowers and the background and stuff. So that's Pale Papaya. And it may be hard to tell on camera, but the top of the flowers is with the new Designer Series paper. You can tell a little bit better on this one maybe. This is Polished Pink. This is Fresh Freesia. And this is Soft Succulent. So those are the new in colors. So those 4 plus this dark green, which is the Evening Evergreen. So the new catalog comes out next week. If you've ordered from me this year, I will be sending one to you or getting one to you. If you haven't and you would like one, then just let me know and I can get one to you. I'm going to be getting them out this week so that you can have them for next week. All right. That is it for tonight. Thank you for joining me, ladies. And I will see you next week. We'll be playing with new catalog stuff next week. That'll be exciting. All right. Thank you. Good night.